Welcome to the podcast where markets meet perspective. I'm Manuela, your host. Together with my father, who shares his analytical market insights, we break down commodities, equities, geopolitics, and market sentiment. This content is for educational and informational purposes only, not investment advice.
If you're finding this video helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps the channel grow and allows us to continue creating valuable content. Thank you for watching.
Without our host, Manouk, she is on business travel. So yeah, I have to do it without my daughter. So yeah, I start alone. We're going to discuss as usual, the charts, the Twitter messages. I want to emphasize two stocks. And that I will discuss during the discussion of the charts. And then we go to geopolitic messages. So let's start. I will share my screen. That is not the right one. Sorry for that. So we start with gold. Yeah, it's on almost 4,900, so it's doing well. You see a small uptrend here. I like what I see here. So it's gaining strength the last week. The same applies for silver. And silver, I really like what I see here. You see the breakout of the trend here. It's yeah. I drew a triangle here, and it's broke out recently. It's a weak resistance line, but I do like what I see. So I think this will stay in a trend sideways or even upwards from this. So I expect this bottom is in. That's a nice thing for the future. Also platinum, it is the same as for silver. So it also broke out of the triangle pattern. I see it is on a 5-year trend. So I will put it on a 1-year trend. Then you have a better view. It's also broke out above its 50-day moving average. The same applies for silver. It's also broke out. Gold, not. It's still below. So I like to see a move above its 50-day moving average. And then for all the metals, all the precious metals, I must say, we have a breakout confirmed. But I do like what I see. I think it's gaining a lot of strength this week. So for the coming months, that gives some confidence. Then uranium, and uranium, I really like what I'm seeing. It's also just above its 50-day moving average. It has to gain some days, a couple of percent above its 50-day moving average next week, and then it's the breakout trend is confirmed, and also the breakout above its 50-day moving average is confirmed. I will go to the website quickly. I wrote a pretty extensive piece on uranium. You can see it here. I will scroll down quickly. Yeah, I advise you to read it all. It's quite a good summary of supply and demand picture. It's theoretical, I know it, but yeah, it gives a good picture of what we can expect the coming 5 to 15 years even. I do like what I see, and that I have so much confirmation that we bought a stock, and that's a more physical stock, and I can mention it here. It's a yellow cake we bought, and also stocks of another fund we already had in the portfolio. So please have a look at beleggershulp.nl. The stock I mentioned is yellow cake. So the ticker is ICA .L. Sorry. Yeah, I like the stock because also the physical aspect of uranium, what I've emphasized in the article, I think in the future that will have the same effect as gold. And what I mean with that, yeah, I would say read the article, and then maybe you have can follow my follow my take on that. Then we go back to the chart. Copper, that's really gaining some momentum. It's way above its 50-day moving average. Probably it will stay around this course, but I expect in the future it will run big time. So I'm also very, very bullish on copper. Then tin. Yeah, what I said last week. I think we have to bottom in here. I like to see some confirmation above the 50-day moving average, but it's looking pretty good. The stocks are also moving again. So let's see what happens here. And for nickel, the same applies. And for nickel, yeah, I thought I had not many stocks that had nickel in the portfolio, but I looked at my portfolio again, and yeah, for example, I can show you one that we discussed last week. We had 100% gain on that one, and that is Glencore. But Glencore not only have copper and coal in their portfolio, but also is a big nickel producer, and is a producer also in geopolitical safe countries. So in Canada, I believe, and in another jurisdiction where that is pretty safe. So maybe if you are a nickel bull, you can look at this stock. Then we are going to oil. Something happened here. I don't know what. It's with opening of the markets. Probably Mr. Trump said now the Strait of Hormuz is open, but I can't follow it anymore. One day the street is open, and a day after that the street is closed again. So probably something big has happened. But I see this as short-term noise. I think in the long term, I'm still very bullish on oil. The stock will drop on this, probably. Maybe next week it will gain again. Same applies for American crude. Natural gas, it's still lagging, and it may be bottoming out here, but we have to see some confirmation. I thought it would gain a lot more because the Europeans have to buy, but also the European gas price dropped a lot. That's astounding, to be honest, because the problems are not over. Even what the strait does, if it's closed or open, or if they have a deal, I don't expect the coming months that it will do much in price action in terms of declining prices. I expect the prices will rise from this level. And term coal, it's declining a little bit. I do expect it will gain again, but it's also moving with the gas price, of course. So let's see what happens here. I'm still bullish on the mid-long term for this. Met coal, a little bit the same, but it's stronger, so it just still follows the blue line. It's a very weak resistance line, I know, and it's hanging on its 50-day moving average. So that was it for the charts. Let's go to the X messages first. Up my screen. Moments. Yeah, this is a message of Imtiaz Mahmoud, if I say it correctly. And what you see here on the picture is the Strait of Malacca. And this is even a more important strait than the Strait of Hormuz. Because in terms of traffic that is going through this strait. And of course, this has to do with Southeast Asia and especially China. So, yeah, Trump had some meetings with Indonesia, and also the Russians are speaking with Indonesia. So it's very interesting what happens here, if this is the next strait to be closed or not. Yeah, we really don't want to see that, because then the total world production will be declining a lot. And then we have a lot of troubles, not only traffic, but also food related, I think. Then here, drought. So we don't only have a fertilizer problem, but also a drought problem in the US, especially in the Midwest. And here are the big farmers. Yeah, so we already bought some options in corn and wheat, I must say, in the fund. So I expect with this, an extra rise will come. So the crops will probably decline in quality and in amount. So yeah, let's see what the options do in a couple of months' time. The EMF warns that Australia is set for the highest inflation rate in the developed world. Yeah, that is causing, of course, about the lack of petrol and kerosene that they have. And that will cause price rises even higher than here in Europe. So, and that causes inflation. So that is why the EMF says that. We come back to another reason for that, but I think I have another tweet about that. Then Craig Tyndale, and I really like what he's writing. He's a very good writer and have some very good geopolitical insights. And he says BHP suspended its West Australian nickel operations. And that is quite some huge message for the nickel space also. So it's already, the market is already tight, also with the sulfuric acid, what he also mentioned, is a case for BSP. So they make a lot of sulfuric acid. So also Australia, getting a lack of sulfuric acid. That is, for mining, not a good place to be if you don't have enough sulfuric acid. Then this is quite some last matches. Wait. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see. But this is a message from Willem Middelkoop, and he summed up quite some fires that are going on in refineries. And I also retweeted some messages, and it's not only war related, it's also fires that are in Mexico, for example, fires in America. In Australia is a big fire now. That is what I want to mention earlier. So the production of diesel and kerosene will be even tighter due to this, and especially in Australia, because they only have 2 refineries. So one of them is gone now, and that produces quite some diesel and kerosene, and that is gone for the market now. So they have a really tight market in those areas, and I expect some flight delays and even flight cancellations. You see that already happening, by the way, in Europe. A Dutch company, KLM, has also delayed some flights and canceled some flights even. So yeah, that's quite interesting, to be honest. Now we're going to geopolitics section. Let's start at the bottom. What says here? Russian energy. The US increased its imports from Russian LNG. That is what I already said the last couple of weeks. Europe is bound to Russia for its gas supply, and you see that here coming in. So it rose by 17%, and Moscow says, yeah, you can buy it, but I also read some messages that you can buy it in yuan, so Chinese currency now. Russians really want that. I don't know if Europe does that already, but yeah, it says much. Indonesia and Russia, that's what I already said. This is about a strategic partnership, but also, of course, what I said earlier, the Strait of Malacca, that is really important. And Mr. Trump and Indonesia had already had a good conversation, and Indonesia had a lot of USA investments taken in. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe that's the next topic after the Strait of Hormuz is dealt with. This is Hungary. That's also quite a message. Viktor Orban has left the stage. Peter Magyar is the new president. He is chosen. And this is the opposition party. At least it's called the opposition party. But yeah, we have to wait and see. But what he is telling the public now, it doesn't change much, to be honest. So I expect it's also a future previous candidate was it in the same party as Orban, so they know each other. Yeah, I expect nothing will change there, but let's wait and see. And here the US launched a blockade. We already know that, but maybe they opened it now and they have a deal with Iran. I don't know. I didn't had chance to read it, so The new Speaker of Slovenia Parliament, Zoran Stevanovic, wants to hold a referendum on withdrawal from the NATO, and that is, yeah, it's a small country, of course, but yeah, it's a European country, so that says a lot. He also, yeah, emphasizes foreign political independence and announced a plan to visit Moscow. So maybe they go closer to Moscow again. I say again because in Soviet times it was a Soviet country. Pakistan opened a new trade corridor via Iran to Central Asia. Then the first shipment arrived in Uzbekistan. Yeah, that is a sign of growing political and economic ties between Pakistan and Iran. So that's quite interesting. And this I made red because I think this is really important. And this ties in a lot of the article I wrote last week. So please, if you're interested, read that. It's an article about the decline in Russian crude exports. What I expect. I thought I said at least a decline of 1 million barrels a day. That is not big on the world stage, but in totalizing, so what we lost in the Strait of Hormuz and the loss of production in Russia, it says a lot. Yeah, what this message says, Kazakhstan oil and petrochemical production fell in the first quarter of 2026 to 86 of the last year's level. So that's quite some decline. And this also caused by Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian ports. So also the Kazakhstan oil exports are affected by this, and that is something I didn't take into account in the article of last week. So maybe this is also 500,000 barrels. I don't know the amount, but it's an important message to take into account. Then Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has arrived in China for talks with the Chinese counterpart. And what is here important is not that Lavrov goes to Xi Jinping. We know Russia and China are friends now, but also Spain is in the picture. So the Spanish minister traveled to China and they agreed on some trade deals. And this is a reaction on what Trump is doing with Spain, because he said we don't want to do any trade deals with Spain again anymore, and that is because the American army couldn't land on make use of bases in Spain. So that was a reaction of Trump. He says, okay, then I don't want to do trade with you anymore. Then the Spanish reacted and say, okay, then we do trade with China. So this is the Spanish plan now. I don't know if it's in line with European politics, but yeah, the Spanish delegation did that. So they already made some deals with China. The US states that it completely halted Iran's maritime trade within 36 hours of imposing a blockade. Yeah, okay, maybe it's open again now. Iran, yeah, make use of Chinese spy satellites. Yeah, we already know that. I want to mention it that it is going on. Then the intelligence chief of Russia says that Poland and the Baltic states are preparing for war. At least that is their interpretation. European interpretation is that they're building up their defense, of course, because of the threat of Russia. Russia says now otherwise. They're doing it to start a war with us. This is also quite interesting. It's top officials of the US Department of Defense held talks with car makers, so car producers, General Motors and Ford. And if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I also had a message, I believe it was an X message, about Volkswagen, and that's a big German concern that is moving in the same direction. So also in the defense industry. So I find it quite interesting. So maybe for car makers, this is some way to make up their losses due to Chinese car manufacturers. So yeah, we have to see what this is. What these are the implications of that. Then the new National Defense Strategy 2026 includes a historical defense budget of $425 billion for the next 10 years. And that is for Australia. I must say, that's not mentioned here, but it's Australia. Sorry for that. And that's about 3% of GDP. So for the next 10 years, they are going to spend a lot on their military. So also Australia is moving in this direction. I think this was it. Yes. So yeah, I want to say until next week.
If you're finding this video helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps the channel grow and allows us to continue creating valuable content. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. If you want deeper market insights, model portfolios, and high-quality research, make sure to visit the InvestorAssistancePro.com website and subscribe to our paid services. We should remind you that we do not provide investment advice in all our services. For free tools, tips, and educational content, check out beleggershulp.nl. If you found this video valuable, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.